Okay. Yes, so we are live on Facebook now. We are talking about Hatha yoga. There's so many different types of yoga. We have a very special guest today, and yoga therapist. There is a difference between yoga and yoga therapy. So we have Maureen Davis. She's joining us live from California, Los Angeles. Namaste, Maureen.
Namaste. How are you?
Good, good, good. So tell us what exactly is Hatha yoga and the difference between other types of yoga.
Okay, so Hatha yoga is the original yoga. So it goes back to the to the ancient times where it was basically meaning sun and moon. Hatha means sun and moon, and it blends both the right and left side of the body together with a breath-based practice so that you can become internally strong, so that you can gain flexibility, inner strength. Structural, it's a structural practice, but the ultimate goal with the breathing that's introduced to, because every pose, you breathe with every pose. So it syncs the breath with the movement. That's why the breathing is the most important part of the practice, because if you don't know how to breathe, and you're missing the benefits of yoga just solely. So because it's so demanding of all of you, in that present moment, what it does is it gets you out of the nature of your conscious mind so that when you are ready to do Shavasana, which is really a very active pose where you're lying still or you're doing meditation at the end, your mind is completely still. And that is the goal of Hatha yoga, is to still the nature of the conscious mind.
Okay, so let's talk about different other types of, how does Hatha yoga compare with other types of yoga?
So everything else came and spun from Hatha yoga. So ashtanga has got Hatha base to it, but Patabi Joyce brought that over into Mysore, and that is a very disciplined practice where they are doing series, and they do a period of time where they just practice the series over and over again. And then once they've mastered that series, they move on to a more difficult sequencing and series and so on. It's a very rigid, very physically demanding practice. Then you've got Anusara, which is also very based in Hatha, but they're more about flowing through the poses and coming from your heart, which was developed by John Friend. So he took Hatha yoga and incorporated something to him and then called it Anusara. Then you've got Iyengar, which was, by Mr. Iyengar, and they use props. Now they also take some of the Hatha practices, but then they're adapting to different bodies and you're holding postures a lot longer. And with the use of props, their philosophy is that if you force the tissue a little bit and hold it for a period of time, that the body will sort of open itself up. Then what else do we have? We have, we've got vinyasa yoga. That's like the West version of yoga.
That's what we do.
Yeah, because it's fast moving. And here's the funny thing, just being honest. I've done vinyasa, I've taught vinyasa. Working in the medical field with vinyasa practitioners, what I would see was a lot of repetitive stress injuries because you don't have enough time to be in the poses properly because it's moving too fast. And it is more of a workout, and you get into some sort of a meditative state, but it's not the same. It makes you feel really good, but it doesn't have that meditative aspect to it like traditional Hatha. So it's very popular here because people think, if I'm sweating, then I'm working out, and yoga's not working out. That's the other thing. So you've got vinyasa, then you've got vini yoga, which is more of like what Desikachar, was teaching. And actually he was one of my mentors in yoga therapy, where you are taking parts of Hatha yoga and you are moving and adapting to the individual needs. And that's what a lot of yoga therapy is about, is taking Hatha and then modifying it for a therapeutic purpose. So a lot of my lineage is deep into Krishnamacharya and Desikachar. So what else do we have? Then we have famous Bikram, you know, where you're doing the same poses in a heated room. I have my feelings on that. I'm not judging it. Some people love it, but I always look at it, things from the healthy standpoint of the body. There's an illusion with hot yoga and Bikram where you're moving into poses because your body's warm that isn't anatomically ready to be in that pose. And again, a lot of people get injured because I've, you know, gone and taken those kind of classes, you know, knowing full well that they're not the best for me with my, you know, current back situation. And I've ended up, because I felt warm, gone into stuff that I knew I had no business doing. And then it would tweak me later on. So that's the hot yoga and the Bikram. And the Bikram is a series of the same postures all the time. There's no real chanting in most of those other disciplines. With Hatha yoga, you have chanting. You do very specific pranayama, which is the breathing. You do meditation. Now, some of the other disciplines will do that. Like my husband is a master Shivananda teacher and taught in India and did advanced teacher trainings. Shivananda also was adapted from Hatha. And they have in the beginning 12 poses that you do all the time. Classes always started with 2 types of pranayama. Then you do a series of poses, which is to strengthen the back and gain flexibility in the spine. That's Shivananda's, you know, premise. And then you always have chanting and prayer at the end. That's like, it's very structured that way. And it's actually a really beautiful practice. I enjoy doing it also. But again, the roots always go back to Hatha yoga. Always. I'm sorry. Oh, restorative. Yeah. So we have yin yoga and restorative yoga. So yin yoga is where you hold poses for 5 to 7 minutes, and which is very challenging, especially in areas that mostly it's done around hips and shoulders, which their philosophy is if you put enough pressure on the fascia and the ligaments that you will get them to finally release. It's hard to hold something for 7 minutes. I've done it. It can be excruciating. That's where the breathing has to come in. That's where your discipline of the mind comes in. And then you have restorative yoga that's very therapeutic because you're using props to put your body in the positions that your body can't anatomically be in so that you will ultimately get that benefit. You know, I worked with a cerebral palsy little boy for 2 years in yoga therapy, and we used a lot of props to open him up passively so that his body would adapt. Because here's the thing, you can do those things, but if you're going to put your body under stress, you're going to negate the whole process of what you're doing in yoga. It has to be done mindfully, and it can't be forced because your body's just going to shut down. I can't hear you. You're muted.
All right. Can you share an example, like a chanting or something? I know we are sitting right now, but is there something we can do just to give a small demo here?
So with the chanting, we'll chant. So Ganesh, which I'm sure you know all about Ganesh, is to remove obstacles.
Yes.
So we always chant to Ganesh in the morning. We have an altar. We light our lamp. We live by the yamas and niyamas, Karun and I, in our life, which are the ethics of yoga. That's the whole. Asana is this much of yoga. There's this much of yoga when you follow the ethics and the protocol of it. It's a life way of living. Mm-hmm. So we always light our lamp to bring the light in the morning, and then we pray to Ganesh. Om Gom Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gom Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Aim Klim Saraswatiye Namaha. So we do that in the morning. We do it every time we get in the car to clear our path, to keep us protected. In class, I might do a chant. Here in the West, you have to be careful because depending on what studio you're in, you'll get people that will run away from you if you start chanting. You have to slowly bring it to them and let them know that chanting, songs are mantras. Chanting is just a repetition of a mantra. It's a repetition of a phrase. We're all saying the same thing in all the yogic chants as we're all praying to God. We're all praying to bring us to the light. We're all praying for health and well-being for the world. We're not doing any weird praying or to any strange God, and that's the other thing. People think that yoga is Hinduism. It's not. Those are two separate things. It's not religious. And I think people really need to understand that Hinduism is Hinduism and yoga is yoga, and yoga is scientific in nature. It's a scientific practice to change the neuroplasticity of the brain and to change your wiring. That's it.
Amazing. And yoga is universal now. You go any part of the world. I mean, we travel and there's a yoga studio, no matter which part of the world you go now.
If we could, I'm just getting the goosebumps. If we could all learn to do yoga, I always say what an amazing place this would be, because we practice non-attachment, no judgment. We see each other's souls as atmas. Like, your soul is no different than mine. We don't have color to the soul. Like, can you imagine like what the world would be like if we could all just have some of that mindset? So it changed my life. It became my dharma. It became my life's purpose. I don't know anything else but it. And it has changed me forever. I can't ever go back to the thoughts I had before. I mean, it's literally changed my being. So that's the beauty of it, is once you change those neuro connections from anxiety, depression, chronic pain, because all diseases, as you know, are manifested from stress, or stress is the number one cause of breakdown, right? When you learn to manage your stress levels by learning how to breathe, by moving your body, by looking at your thoughts, that's in my life coaching. I'm a mindfulness coach, so I take yoga philosophy and the mind and the thoughts and how your thoughts create your emotions and how that changes the chemistry in your body and blah, blah, blah. Like, once we learn where they're coming from and how to change them, you become a different person and your stress levels go down, your stress response goes down, eat healthy, you do a little asana, and you're pretty balanced individual. You can manage a lot,
Yes.
Like, you could just manage a lot. I say that yoga teaches us that life is the grand meditation. So when we can be mindful and learn how to respond to life versus be in a reactionary mode, we can make better choices. We can see the world through a different lens. We move about our day a lot less stressed. We move in our bodies differently, and a lot of things just, we become well, we become whole. That's the whole thing of yoga, is to bring wholeness back into your body every time you go on the mat. So we're always out of balance every part of the day. We could be good now, but 20 minutes from now, we might be off balance. What are the tools to come back? And yoga teaches us that. I might need to breathe. Maybe I just need to look at my thoughts. Maybe I just need to move a little bit and get away from the computer for 5 minutes.
Yes.
Right? And then you have a different mindset. You've shifted. And now you're in a clearer state so that you can make better choices.
Yes, I think I mean, you are absolutely right. Even 5 minutes of yoga practice can do wonders, to your mind, to your soul. to your body, right? It's all mind, body, and soul. It's all encompassing that. I mean, I never used to do yoga that much, but lately, I started just incorporating like 20 minutes every day, and there's so much difference in anxiety and stress. I mean, you just don't get stressed out no matter what happens.
I know, it's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is, and that's what we are trying to bring here. The fact that embrace a yoga therapy, embrace yoga in your day-to-day life on a daily basis, even if it's for 5 minutes, and that's what we are trying to say here with Maureen, who has joined me here. But thank you so much, Maureen, for your valuable input and knowledge about yoga.
Of course, and that's you touched on a good point, because the things that used to trigger you before, like, don't trigger you anymore. And you kind of laugh at it and you say, I can't even create that and that response anymore because it doesn't have the emotional charge that it used to.
Yes, it has changed to me. I can attest to that.
Right.
And, and it can change you, or to all of you, if you embrace yoga.
Right. But here's the thing that people have to get over. One, it's not religious. Two, the West has done a poor disservice to the yoga world, looking at all these people who are twisting and bending, and they have all these, Gumby bodies. Okay, I started my yoga journey after my 3rd back surgery. I've had 4. I have artificial discs. I have fusions. My spine is a train wreck. But yoga has saved me. I got more flexible doing yoga than I've ever been in my entire life. It takes time, and unfortunately, humanity with technology wants the quick fix. And it's not a quick fix, but you gain flexibility. So don't think that because you're inflexible. I hear that all the time. I can't do it because I'm not. You don't have to be flexible. And you have to find the right teacher. It's really important to find somebody who's very knowledgeable, especially if you have issues that care needs to be taken. Because I've had women start with me in their 70s who couldn't even lay on the floor without their back spasming, did some body work, because I do release work. She's killing it now, okay? She can do better than the younger kids.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much, Maureen, and sharing your story. I know you told me that you had back problems and yoga has saved you, and you had surgery one time or multiple times. I don't remember, but
4 times.
Oh my God, 4 times surgery, and yoga has been the savior for you. So yoga can really help with back pain, chronic pain, anxiety,
depression. That's the whole package when you have pain.
Anxiety, everything, pretty much everything, even hormonal balance.
Totally.
Yes.
Totally.
Even men, so many. So I want to thank you, Maureen. Thank you so much.
Namaste. Namaste.
To all the viewers, thank you for watching, and let us know how we are doing. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.